This week I competed in Monastir in a 25k, all in a bid to qualify. I'd have to win 3 rounds of matches against ATP ranked players. Let's see how I get on. Yes guys, so just woke up. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, very early start. We've got a practice call at 7:30, so I better get going. I'm gonna have some breakfast before because I'm playing at 9 o'clock. Just gonna head to breakfast right now. I'm gonna have my classic protein oats. Brought my protein with me. If you wanna try this legendary protein oats, the link to the protein will be down below. You can get a discount of 30% if you use our code, so go and check it out. So my opponent for the first round was to beat Aaron. I wasn't seeded this week in qualifying, meaning there were loads of stacked players in the qualifying draw, obviously higher ranked than myself. So what that means is there's 16 players who are higher ranked ATP wise than myself, meaning I'd have to beat 2 ATP ranked players at least higher ranked than me to qualify this week. In this first match I played Aaron, who didn't have an ATP ranking, so a good opportunity to get a win on the board nice and early and to give me some confidence for the rest of the qualies. Like you see me getting an early break here, looking to just be nice and consistent. In a lot of these qualification matches, it's important that you stay nice and solid, you don't give your opponent many points, and if you can kind of go through that mindset after kind of 3 or 4 love in each set, or 3 or 4 games in each set, it can really dishearten your opponent, or you can become disheartened if it happens to you. But as you can see here, 30-40 in this second service game. I'm just looking to be nice and consistent off that backhand wing, try and get on the forehand and just be as aggressive as possible, basically. Especially in these first few matches, taking the return games and being nice and aggressive is important, because I felt that I was very comfortable on serve, that the return games were where I can really break and try and find an opportunity to get ahead. It was also 2 rounds of qualifying on the second day, meaning that today, so the Sunday, you play 1 match, and on the Monday you play 2 matches, meaning that if I were to win and win the second round, I'd play the 3rd round on the same day. So I had that in the back of my mind and knew that it's going to be important to try and make the matches last shorter rather than longer, I think is the best way of putting it. So obviously trying to win each point and be nice and consistent and not drag out the match too long, but also just trying to be aggressive. And as you can see there, taking that opportunity to win that point. My toughest service game of the match so far here. Aaron's putting me under some good pressure, being nice and consistent, as you can see, coming forward, looking to put the ball away. And yeah, in this game, winning the game on a juice game, taking us through to 4-2, and also kind of breaking that momentum that he'd built up in my service game a little bit. I knew that this game would be a good opportunity to break. Obviously I played a long service game, so he hasn't served for a while. Sometimes it's actually a beneficial thing, especially at the beginning of a match, to maybe have a slightly longer service game, because you can hit a few more serves and feel confident. And as you can see there, breaking and going 40 love up in my service game to take the first set, really trying to punish with the forehand, him defending, giving it up for a smash. Toying around a little bit too much there on that bounce smash, a bit too relaxed, but eventually taking the first set 6-2. Second set started off slightly differently to the first. Aaron played a lot more aggressive. He definitely raised the level, and I could sense it. So I knew that I had to up my game as well, make sure that I was locking down my service games, coming forwards, putting a lot of pressure on. I felt that was working today very well. I felt like my serve was working, and I think that overall, as this match progressed, I raised my level as well. I definitely think that my returns is something that I could have been slightly more aggressive on. I think that those return games, when I talked to Carousel from My Tennis HQ, are so important to take those games as kind of just opportunities. Just try and just be as kind of play the game to try and win one of the games rather than trying to win all of the games, is the best way of putting it. And as you can see, I get a break pretty early on, especially against good players. All you need is 1 break in the set if you're serving well, so just try and win 1 of the 4 service games rather than trying to win all 4 of the service games, because if you try and win all 4, you play a little bit too consistent or too perfect, then you're going to end up losing all 4, and then you're in a tie break. But as you can see here, my opponent doing a good job, going 40-30 up on serve. He's doing a lot better job of coming forwards and being aggressive. That was when he was playing his best tennis, so I knew that I'd try and have to keep him back as much as possible to try and enforce my game on his. As you can see here, coming forwards, coming to the net. to try and close out my service games. As you can see here, 6-2, 4-2 up. Again, down for my opponent to hold his serve. I'm trying to just come forwards. He plays a great ball up to my backhand. High kind of smash or volley, whatever you want to call that. That's actually a tough shot, and me just trying to be a little bit too delicate. But as you can see, feeling very confident in my service games, and I was able to kind of pull through in my service games. 5-3 here with my opponent on serve. He manages to put away a solid game and forces me to serve it out, which is obviously what he would have wanted. But I was serving very well on the day, get an opportunity here at 40-30 match point, go straight into the body, 1-2 with the forehand, getting it nice and deep, managing to win my first round here in Monastir. On to the next one.
Yes guys, so just got off court, managed to win my first round match, played nice and solid. A few chances on the return games where I maybe could have been a bit more aggressive. But I think for the first match, didn't manage to play yesterday because my ankle was a little bit beat up. So yeah, happy with my performance. I'm going to go do an active recovery in the gym, followed by an ice bath. And do some work for today's video, and then roll on to tomorrow for second round qualies.
That afternoon I took a walk down to the beach. Even though it is November, in Monastir it was still sunny, so I wanted to enjoy that sunshine. However, the next day it was back to the warm-up for my second round qualifying match. I was to play a seeded player who had 2 or 3 ATP points and who'd been a bit more of a veteran of Monastir than myself. But the 8:30 match practice was nice, as some of the morning slots for practice started at 6:55. So I was appreciative that I could have a little bit of a lie in this morning actually, and not be one of the first ones on. My opponent was to be Nico, a fellow Brit player that played under the British flag. He had 2 or 3 ATP points. He plays a lot in Monastir. A little bit younger than myself, but I was feeling pretty confident going into this match. I played a few practices with him this week actually, and wanted to start off pretty aggressively. Again, everything was working very well on my service games. The beginning of this match, I felt like I returned quietly, tentatively. I was just being a little bit too relaxed on his service games. I don't think I was putting enough pressure on him. With that being said, he did have a very strong serve, and as you can see there, really just taking an opportunity to just smash down some aces to begin this match, not really giving either of us much rhythm. You can see my strategy there, just trying to come forwards and be aggressive, like in that first match, which was working pretty well, just dominating, moving with the forehand, and looking to play big margins. Again, opportunity here at 30-15 in Nico's service game. Again, nice let chord. Come forward to the net on that, just going slightly too high for me to play a comfortable smash, giving him a chance to get back into the point. And trying to slow it down with that slice, but he hits a great ball up the line with the backhand, saving himself in this game, and it ends up giving himself an add point. Obviously frustrating that I didn't capitalise on that net chord earlier on in this game, because an early break would have been nice. But you can see me here moving the ball with the backhand well, but him just taking it early with that backhand, changing the pace and hitting a beautiful forehand up the line winner was just too good. And points like that, if I can keep the pressure on, are going to be good opportunities to try and get a break. And I felt confident that I could break in this first set, and that I wasn't going to lose serve. So you can see we're here 4-3, pretty even level to be honest. Both of us are holding our serve well. Managed to find the gap there on the down the line ball, but ended up losing that game. These 4-all, 5-all games are crucial to make sure that you lock it down on serve, play percentages, play big to big spaces. You can see I was serving well in this first set. I definitely think balls like that, where I take advantage of the second serve, are crucial. This point at 30-all, looking to get it low to his feet. Nico hits a great volley, and I just put that ball wide. That was a huge opportunity there to potentially get a set point, but I wasn't able to capitalise. And making a terrible decision there. I'm not sure what that was from myself to not hit that forehand there, hitting a slice instead, giving him the upper hand in this point, and then scrambling to try and get back into it. He goes back behind. I'm on the run there, but managed to put it deep enough and just nearly fall over there. 30-all, another key point here in this service game. Go with the second serve to his backhand, take the backhand nice and early, go line. Definitely think that switching up the line, getting him on the run more was working well, and then coming in with the forehand was paying off. Again, 40-30 here, just dominating with the forehand to take it to 6-5 and guarantee a tie break. Nico there, just serving really solid, quite a lot of aces in this first set actually. And as you can see, umpires call that in. Definitely wasn't in on the replay, but sometimes the umpire can also make mistakes. Start off the serving in this tiebreak pretty solidly. Knocked down a couple of good serves, and so does Nico. But again, as you can see, looking to just be nice and aggressive on that forehand. He hits the ball up nice and high. Didn't want to risk it and go for too much on that smash. Maybe should have an opt for a terrible shot. That slice there really got to be just hitting that. As you can see, Nico ace down the tee, just serving impeccably in this first set. 4-3 here in this tiebreak, still on serve. Definitely a key point, this one right here. Decided to go up the line with the backhand. Wasn't good enough in terms of quality of shot, but Nico lets me back into it. Hits a smack, like a really good forehand up the line there. Managed to defend deep. And I just shank that ball, just pops up and gives him an opportunity at 6-4 here. Hits the ball down the tee, and umpires called it out. I thought it was in. Actually, I kind of thought I'd lost the set there, but umpires called it out. Played to the umpire's call, got an opportunity for him to have a second serve. In the moment, I obviously didn't know that it was in. Otherwise, probably would have just said, there you go. But he then misses 6-5, and serving to stay back in it here. And Nico again looking to be aggressive with the forehand. I think I was just being a little bit too tentative. He hits that ball bang on the line and takes the first set. Now, I had to think to myself, as that first set was super close. I felt like I hadn't done that much wrong. I hadn't really had many opportunities to break, but I think a little bit of energy in the beginning of this second set was injected. I wanted to inject a little bit of energy and start off in the right way. And that's definitely what I did. I'd been serving well all week, and I definitely think that I was confident to hold. I just needed a little bit more energy to break, a little bit more energy on those returns, as you can see there, to then be aggressive and come forwards. I think that's the way I've got to be playing. That's the way I'm going to improve the most as a player and beat better players, because when I go into that defensive mode, stuff like that happens and my opponent plays a good point, but also sometimes I'll make bad decisions. But again, you can see I get a double break in the second set, going up 3-love on serve. Everything's working now, forehand, backhand, everything's firing. I wish I'd won the first set now, because would have been sailing on the way to victory by now. However, that's never tennis, that's not how it goes. We're here at Juice at 3-love, key game, don't want to give him an opportunity. He puts that ball long, managed to convert, go 4-love up, comfortably leading in this second set. I knew that he was going to play nice and loose as the time goes by. The more you're down, the more loose you're going to play. But I wasn't letting him have it. I was just playing nice and loose myself as well, looking to just get on top of the ball, be aggressive. He manages to hold his service game, but once again, not feeling the pressure on my serve. I decided to just stick to my guns, stick to what was working and how I was winning points, and just keep going for shots that necessarily weren't the highest percentage, but on the day I was hitting really well. He hits a great ball there down low to my feet. 40-15 up, go for that big serve down the tee, travels long, take it to 5-1 in this second set. And at this point, I feel pretty comfortable that we're going to go to a breaker. So I'm kind of thinking about now, how I want to play and exactly, the strategy that I'm going to be having in the breaker. But yeah, 30-15, still got work to be done. I obviously wasn't thinking that during the points or anything, but just said to myself, keep doing what I'm doing. 40-30 up here, go with the forehand in down the line and win the second set. Now, Nico went for a toilet break after this, which was very, very long. I was told that he was kind of being sick or being ill. Whether that was something tactical or whether he was genuinely ill, I believe Nico that he wasn't feeling good, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But it abrupted the momentum of me massively. I don't think it was tactical. However, kind of it came off in more of his favour. But I said, let's not let that affect me mentally. Let's try and really focus in. As you can see, it's very close at the beginning of this second set. He comes out nice and loose, but it takes it to 3-all, so haven't let it affect me too much. I've kept to my guns, nice and aggressive. Hit the net cord on that ball, and the umpires called that one wide, giving him a mini break in this match breaker, and every point matters. That was slightly frustrating when those calls don't go your way. Nico with the second serve there, deciding to go with that backhand. I think I could have been a little bit more aggressive on that backhand side, but as you can see, Nico's the one dominating. That's not really where I want to be in hindsight, especially in a breaker like this. 5-3 here, Nico with the 1-2 punch, very nice and solid, takes it to 6-3. I'm in a bit of a hole here. He puts in a very, very nice return and absolutely slaps that forehand down the line. It's like a low slice, got to be coming in off that, and again, hitting the same ball, neckboard inside out and goes wide, takes it to 8-3 where he hits an ace out wide, and this ball was not in. It was a mile out, and I just could not believe it, as you know, the chances of winning this match were slipping away from me. And it goes down to 9-3 now, down 6-7 match points, and that ball's also called wide. I unfortunately lose this match, and let's just say I was fuming.
Yes, guys, so unfortunately I did lose that match. It was a tough match. I felt like I was the better player throughout, lost a tight first set. Obviously came back in the second and raised my level to where I wanted it to be. And in the match breaker, it just didn't go my way. The 2 net chords, 1 or 2 or 3 tough line calls, whether they were in, whether they were out, nobody will ever know. But I think that it was a great opportunity to, you know, use that match as potentially something to work on in my game. You know, just looking for a break early on in that first set is so key with my game style, as I know that I'm going to be able to hold serve. But a positive is that I was serving great. I was playing really nice service games, and I think that that's definitely something I can carry through to future tournaments that I'm going to be playing. At the moment, I'm actually in Kuwait, where I'm playing a few 15Ks out here. Singles and doubles. Doubles I'm playing with Raf, who, if you may remember, I made a final with earlier this year. So good things to come. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe.